I've realized there's a bit of a misconception out there about certain terms. I've seen that one term tends to be used in place of the other, and we sort of have been tricked into thinking that actually one is the other, and they're not really the other. They don't mean the same thing, these words I am talking about. So these words are wealth and affordability. So let's get into it. Affordability. So say now, let's use me as an example. When I was working, I was getting paid around just south of 250,000 rand a month. So I mean a year. Geez, a month. Wow, a year annually. That was my annual payment salary. So if I were to want to buy this car, which I did want to, and I did, I would not have been able, I was not able to pay it in cash. If I did want to pay it in cash, I would have had to save some money. Let's just say I saved 10,000 rand a month for about 2 years. Then I would have been able to afford this car. So that would mean that I would take my salary, just take whatever I need for the basics and, you know, everyday life, and then take 10,000, put it in a bank or a sock or whatever it is that you deem safe, or I would have deemed safe. And then at the end of 2 years, or whenever I reach the amount that this car costs, which is about 200,000, then go purchase the car. So at that time, let's say this happens now, today, January 16th, 2019. Let's say today is the day that I've actually built up enough money to the point that I can afford to buy this car cash. Sharp. So assume that today is the day that I'm actually, say I'm fired from work, or I don't know, my company goes into liquidity or something, I don't know. But remember, I have 200,000 rand in my bank account or my sock drawer or wherever it is that I decided to put my money in. So that would mean that since I was getting paid 250,000 a year, and now I have 200,000, and I was able to live with around half of that amount. That means that with the 200,000 rand that I have now, I would have to decide to not buy a car because I don't have a job anymore. So how am I gonna afford to like put in petrol and stuff? So then I pay cash for the car. No, I don't pay cash for the car anymore because I'm not buying the car anymore. Sorry. So now I have that 200,000, and now if I continue living within my means, or even reduce a bit the means in which I was living, I have that amount of wealth that I can actually survive a whole year without having to work a single day, because I was able to survive on that salary while I was working. Like, that was the amount that I was getting while I was working. So what I mean is that I have 200,000. If I stop working, I can still continue to sustain my life. I can still live every day. I can still probably chill and watch TV for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, depending on how much I you know, gauge myself. So that would be affordability. That would be wealth, meaning that I could stop working today and I would be fine for a while because I have that money, I have that value, I have that wealth somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be wealth in the form of actual cash. It can be that I've been buying certain assets, and if I stop working, those assets are sustaining my life. They're funding my life, whatever it is that I'm doing. So that is wealth. However, the way I did it was, at the time, just after I had started working, the bank told me, hey, you know what, you can actually afford a car that costs this much. I was like, oh really now? Okay, how? And they said, no, it's simple. We give you the car and you pay us this much every month. So in my case, it was about 4,500 every month, and that is what's called affordability. So let's say that's the situation, that's the option I went for, and today on the 16th of January 2019, the same situation happens. I stop working, I get fired, company goes to liquidation, whatever. And here I am with a car that I already have, but the money that was coming in to buy the car, to pay monthly, is gone now. So that means the car is going to be taken away from me. I cannot afford the car. And what's going to happen to me in 2 or 3 months? I'm going to be broke because I wasn't saving any money. I don't have that lump sum that's going to sustain my life going forward. So we tend to see people driving certain cars and think, oh, that guy is wealthy. Actually, they may not be. I'm not saying they aren't, I'm saying they may not be. Should their income stream just disappear today, they may not be able to sustain whatever they're doing. And that is where affordability plays a role. A lot of us out here are surviving by affordability. I am surviving by affordability. If I stop paying for this car, if I struggle to get the means with which to pay this car, it's gone. It's not mine anymore. I don't have the wealth to own the car, but what is that? Okay, I have I used to have an influx of money in terms of my salary to be able to afford to drive the car, and eventually after 5 or so many years be able to own the car. So that is the difference between affordability and wealth. So say Jeff Bezos was supposed were to decide, you know what, I'm done with this stuff, I am going to chill with my family. He's getting divorced, but let's just say he decides he's going on vacation for the rest of his life, whatever, blah blah blah, and he sells all these shares and everything, and all the money comes to his pocket. It's a lot of money. He can spend millions each single day for the rest of his life, and he would be able to survive. That's how wealthy he is. When I did the calculation a few months ago, if you have 1 billion, whatever it is, $1 billion or 1 billion rands, whatever, you can spend 50,000 every day for 50 years, and that's 1 billion. So now imagine someone who has like 100 and whatever something billion. So he'd be really, wealthy. So what I'm saying is, yes, if you were to have 1 billion in your account, you would be able to spend 50,000 each day, and that to me would be wealth, in that you can just chill and sleep. And well, you can't sleep because how else would you be spending 50,000? It's sleeping. So you'd have to probably go out there to actually spend that 50,000. But 50 years, each single day spending 50,000, that's actually a lot of money. I'm thinking about it, like, how do you spend 50,000 every single day for 50 years for you to get to that actual billion? That's just a lot of money. So yes, don't see people driving around in nice fancy cars and thinking these people have wealth, they have money, and then you start asking for stuff from them. No, those guys just afford. I'm just here affording, well, I could afford at the time that the bank gave me the car. I may not afford now, so don't come here thinking, yeah, Kevin has money, let me ask for something from him. No, namali, I just afforded this thing, so they gave it to me. They let me have it so that I can just pay them back on a monthly basis. Should I stop doing that? They're gonna be like, yeah, fam, gotta bring our stuff back now. You don't own it. And should I stop being able to make the regular payments? That'll probably mean I'm not able to sustain my life anymore. And a lot of what I have, I'm gonna lose because I wasn't wealthy. I could just afford things, given that I still had an influx of money in the form of my salary. So I hope I cleared that out. I hope I didn't just confuse you even more. Wealth is how long you can live without a job, without anything, like how much money do you actually have. And affordability is just that, okay, we see you have a job and you're getting this much every month, which means you can afford to pay us from that salary this much, and you can just drive this car, you can stay in this house, or you can, I don't know, whatever it is that you can afford to do. Take these clothes or something in a clothing account, whatever. So yeah, just don't confuse the two. Don't see someone driving a car thinking, yeah, they're wealthy. Check your facts, then decide from there on.